Oh my God, I am extremely excited coming your way wherever you're watching today. It is still Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am excited. I want you to get in touch with somebody. I mean, you need to share right now if you're on any of the social platforms or anywhere at all. Call somebody. Let them know that it is Mama Helen and you on air right now for you today. Now, today I am excited about what we're going to be looking at because marriage is very important. It's key. It has a way of shaping a man's destiny or a woman's destiny. But the question here is, are there things that you need to know before you say yes? So on Mama Helen and you today, we're actually going to be looking at those things you need to know before you say yes. God bless you. Join me in a moment and let us have a ball together. See you later.
Mama Helen TV show, Mama Helen ló ti dé. Mọ́mì ti wá dé, Mama Helen ló tún ti dé. Oríṣiríṣi àrà ó dé.
Oh my God, I am excited. Come on out there. Happy weekend to each and every one of you. And it is still Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria. Now, today we're going to be looking at before you say yes. Well, some might think that this is just for the singles alone, but even the married ones as well, because even after you are married, there are some points, there are some things that you also need to know as well. And then, of course, the children, so that you'll be able to advise them as they grow, intending to settle down later on in life. So, before we get into everything else, I just want to throw in some nuggets on before you say yes. What are the things you need to know? What are the things you need to know about that girl? What are the things you need to know about that man, the young man that seems to be showing interest, wanting your hand in marriage? What are the things you need to know? The number one thing is that you need to be sure if you are all, as an individual, are you all? Are you whole? Now, when we talk about wholeness, it means that the wholeness that has to do with your emotions, your spiritual aspect of life, and everything else. Are you whole? Don't say yes to a man just because you are lonely. Don't marry a woman because you need someone to pick up your bills. Don't marry that man just because you're tired of being with your parents. You want to be whole. You want to be emotionally ready, to get married, to marry that man or to marry that woman. You want to be whole. It is very important. For a young lady, before you say yes to that man, it is also very important, and that will be my number 2 aspect of today's learning, is for you to be sure that this young man has respect for his mother. Yes, you need to be sure that he has respect for his mom. What do I mean by that? A man who does not have respect for his mom evidently will struggle having respect, for you later on in life. So it is extremely important that you know that the man has respect for his mom. Extremely important. And I'm not talking about mommy's boy now, okay? I'm not talking about mommy's boy, where before, even if he comes, he has to take permission from the mom. That's not what I'm talking about. Because then at the end of the day, it will be a serious problem for you because the mom would dominate the family and then there will be a problem later on in your marriage. Number 3, the young man out there, you want to be sure that this young lady is not saying yes to you because of your pocket, because of what she feels you have, because of the kind of comfort she believes that you'll be able to offer her. That is not relationship. That's not tenable in relationship. A woman must love you for who you are. A young lady must love you for who you are. She must look past whatever it is, whether you're a lawyer or whatever. Yes, fine, defining goals and all that, which I'm going to get into in a moment, is there. But nevertheless, she needs to love you just for who you are. That is extremely important. And one of the ways by which you can know if she genuinely loves you is if, peradventure, you take her to a eatery or a place, a restaurant or whatever, and you see her practically cleaning the whole plate in terms of asking for everything. She's asking for salad and at the same time asking for a guobobo with banga soup, and at the same time she's asking for all sorts of demand. Such a lady, she's going to be a problem later, because then it will look as though as if she's actually saying yes to you because of your pockets. A woman must be able to add value to a man. The purpose of marriage is not just to be able to have someone to pick your bills. It is for you, it is for companionship and many other things as well. The other aspect that is extremely crucial that a lot of people, seems to overlook is the family values. The family values. In those days, before you finally say yes or before it is concluded that you are allowed to marry a man or woman, you would have a kind of emissary, people that would be sent out to the man's place or to the lady's place just to have sort of historical background about this particular person. Because for you to think that you are just marrying that person, you're deceiving yourself. When you marry a man or woman, you are not just marrying that man or that woman alone. You are marrying his father or her father. You are marrying the mom. You are marrying the uncle, the aunties, because these are people that have invested into his lives, into his life, I beg your pardon. So you want to be sure, that the kind of home, the value system they have also tallies with yours as well. A lot of young ladies are languishing today, or men also. Why? Because somehow they didn't get it right. They didn't know who they were really, really getting married to from the onset. And that has been a big problem. He might not show you the exact, person that he is, or vice versa. But by the time you get to the home front, getting to know the uncles and the aunties, the way they value. For example, do they value marriage? Do they value hard work? Okay. Do they value things, that has a good moral standing, that you can say that, of a truth, this person is actually coming from a good home. Even if there are things that are not palatable that you get to find out later on, the fact that up front will help you to prepare yourself to know that, okay, this is the kind of, family that I'm going to be married into, so I am not going to be taken unaware because I didn't have a pre-knowledge of the kind of home setting that person comes from. Now, the other aspect that I also want us to look at has to do with the particular person's core value as well. What is his own core value? Yes, that we have core value in the sense of a family setting, but the man must also, because growth is the essence of life. There are some things that he must have made up his mind to say, okay, well, growing up, I discovered that my parents divorced and all that, and that has grossly affected me. So I am not going to repeat the history of my parents. I'm going to guide against that. That becomes this core value. So a man like that, evidently, you need to ask questions. You need to find out from him. Okay, fine. From what I gathered, your mom and dad are no longer together. But what do you think about marriage? What kind of commitment do you think a marriage should have? That in itself will go a long way in helping you to decide whether he's the right man or he is the right woman. Okay. Then you want to also ask as well, the goals. Where do you find yourself in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Do you still see us together? Someone once asked a question, saying that, wait a minute, what do you think if XYZ happened during the course of a marriage? Can you still stay committed to me or her? And the person said, well, it depends. All right. If someone gives that kind of notion to saying that, using the word it depends, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do as an individual? You need to probe further, okay? You need to probe further just to know if this person believes in marriage enough to stay with you for the rest of your life. It's extremely important, darling. You don't just want to believe that, well, since it's a love thing and it's just going to be like that. No. You need to know. Also, the aspect of setting goals and ambition. A man must start off from just being in a one-bedroom apartment. But what is his goals? What are the things? What are his goals? What are the things that he wants to achieve or he gravitates becoming tomorrow? You need to find out. Not someone that is just going to talk you out of, oh my God, I want to build a big house. Okay, but how do you want to go about getting the big house? Are you going to steal or are you going to work towards achieving that? Those things really matter a great deal. And you don't want to toy, you don't want to play with those things. They matter. Okay? And then, of course, it isn't just for him to say that. He has to be able to put it, you have to talk extensively, about it. You have to talk extensively about it because you want to be sure, because you know without a shadow of doubt that this is an area that you cannot afford to toy with. So, those things matter. They matter. Another aspect that I also would want us to look at is the aspect of how you intend. Now listen to this. Because your mental compatibility matter a great deal. And this has to do with conversation. Okay, can this person actually challenge you mentally? Can you both, converse? Can you communicate? Because, it's going to leave the realm of just looking good and perhaps, you look nice and whatever it is, By the time the real thing takes place, when you're not beginning to live together as husband and wife, all right, you must be able to sit down and talk. Okay, you must be able to sit down and communicate. If it's the kind of person that loves politics, then you want to find out. Because when you now know that he loves politics, then you want to be able to engage him further or at least read about politics so that you can have something that will form conversation in your home. Otherwise, you'll be bored. You'll be bored of each other. You won't, because there won't be anything to create excitement and all that stuff. So it is important to be sure whether you are compatible mentally. You also want to find out if it's the way and manner he demonstrates his love. In Africa, men generally have difficulty when it has to do with how to show love. Ladies are very good in that department, but men really struggle about that. So you need to know how he establishes that with you, so that at least if he's not, how am I going to put it now? If you want him to be able to improve in that area, then you can talk about it. Okay, but foremost, you would have known that, okay, this is how he loves me, but this is how he shows his love towards me. That is extremely important. It's something that you must know because, romance in marriage matters a great deal, the ability to just sit together, have each other's hands and on each other and so on. Everything is not about sex. You know, you want to be able to relax and enjoy each other's presence. It is extremely important. So you need to know. Find out how he sees that. And that would go a long way. You also want to be sure if this person would actually have your back. We're actually talking about before you say yes. Is he going to have your back, or is she going to have your back later? Because marriage is about commitment. You want to be married to someone that would always have your back, no matter what. It is extremely important. And one of the ways by which you can find that out is, a little text here and there to see how he relates with that. Maybe when he's with his friend, is it the type that would like to run you down at that time when he's with his friends? And stupid you saw that and still went ahead. You can almost tell that by the time you are married, he's going to do worse than that to you. So, you need to be mindful of that. I've even seen some ladies, before they marry a particular young man, the man has given them the beating of their life. And yet they still, forge ahead with the marriage. And I'm wondering, or with the wedding. And I'm wondering, are you that desperate enough? If a man could start beating you before you say yes to him, what do you think is going to happen later on in marriage? It's going to give you a, blue, black, red face, at the end of the day. So you want to be sure you don't want to do that, to yourself. You also want to be sure, in the area of temper and how he handles things. Now, what am I talking about? Or vice versa, actually. Okay? And one of the ways you can find out is to know how he reacts to things. Maybe his things gets missing. Or things, gets missing. How, was it handled? Did he go on top of the ceiling screaming and shouting, so what, and whatever, vibrating all over the place and all that. You need to be sure, darling. You need to be sure. So that just in case if he has started exhibiting some kind of temperament that, that you need to be sure of, whether it's going to lead to physical abuse or something, you can almost tell. Okay? You also want to be sure that this person, recognizes your emotion. Your emotion. What do I mean by that? As an individual, you have feelings, okay? You have a feeling as a person. Women are emotionally driven. Yes, men probably gravitate. They also have some level of it, but men are more into problem solving. But women process things differently. When a woman is bogged down emotionally, he's just not waiting for the man to solve the problem. She just wants the man to give her a listening ear, So you want to be sure. Because every woman is ever desirous of marrying a man that will give her a listening ear. But most times when we are judged that during courtship, we judge it wrongly. Okay? We believe just because the man isn't saying anything, automatically, by the time you both get married, so he's not going to be listening. Sweetheart, that's not true. Because by the time you get married, that's when you're not going to sit, before you say, no, please, I need my peace here. He has been quiet during courtship, but now he's going to tell you, you don't matter. You don't have a voice in this house. So it is extremely important. Get to know all these things. We can go on and on. So many things that you need to know before you say yes. And I'm here today to answer all your questions, because the whole essence of having this program is to be able to provide solutions, to ensure that at least you have the ingredients, or should I say, what you need to know before you finally say yes to that young man or to that young lady. In wrapping up this segment is to actually also say to us that, we all want to be married, yes, especially in Africa. every woman wants to say yes, wants to be a Mrs. and wear this ring that I'm wearing. But I often say to people, okay, be sure. Don't get married just because others are getting married. All right? You want to be sure that this is a man for you and this is a woman for you. Don't get married because you are tired of being single. Get married because you are compatible. Get married because the man will allow you be you. And of course, rounding it up, I also want to say, you can't change any human being, darling. So don't think if there are things that you are seeing during courtship, suddenly by the time you get married, all those things will just boom, will just disappear. He's not going to change. You can't change any human being. Forget it. So everything you see about him, not all, because he's not going to show you his everything, and that's the main reason why you must learn to ask questions. You must probe and probe and probe. Ask his friends jokingly, what do you think about your friend, in a very joking manner, so that they will know you are probing. But for him, yes, get yourself to a place where you can both sit and talk and talk and talk, so that you can know the real person you are getting married to. Well, it is still Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. And I am extremely excited. I don't know about you, but I am excited. This is a time for you to start pressing your share button. You want to, press the share button. A time will come during this program when you would have the opportunity to ask me some questions. You ask me some questions. So I can't wait to hear from you, because, there are so many other things that I could have mentioned, but I want to see whether you're going to lead me on to that, so that I don't just keep talking. I want to hear from you as well. And of course, we also had some people who have sent out questions ahead and will want me to answer them. So when we are back, as we go on this break, okay, I'll be able to handle those questions as it were. It is time for us to go on break, and I will be right back. It is still Mama Helen and you. Back in a moment.
Mama Helen TV show, Mama Helen ó ti dé. Mọ́mì ti wá dé, Mama Helen ó tún ti dé. Oríṣiríṣi àrà ó dé.
Welcome back. This is still Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am excited. I don't know about you. Okay, well, before Jenny Eagle and everyone else to sing here will be coming up, now we are going to be looking at some of the questions that you sent in. Okay, and the very first question actually came from Valentina from Lagos. And she said, how do you know the right man? Okay, in knowing the right man, I want to also ask you the question, are you the right woman? Because it's very, very important, okay? Are you the right man? Are you the right woman for that man? All right? Are you ready? That's important. Okay. When you've answered that question, being the right woman, then it is to knowing this particular person who says he wants to marry you. So, the number one thing on the table is that, is he a child of God? That has to come to bear, because I'm a woman of God, so I have to put that across to you. Are you of the same faith? Are you of the same faith? Because that matters a great deal. I wouldn't want to marry an unbeliever because I'm a believer myself. So you need to know. That comes in. Number two, is this person facially good enough for me? Because, sweetheart, by the time you get married, the real thing is going to show. Okay, right now we have a bit of pancake right today, to cover up some things. But You know, when you wake up in the morning, are you going to be excited of what you see? That matters a great deal. You're not going to be speaking in tongues every 27 or 24 hours. You're not going to be doing that. You know, you want to be sure that this person is. Number 3, character. Character matters a great deal. And with some of the things that I earlier mentioned, I think just should be able to address that because, okay, you want to know how he reacts to things. You want to know his goals. You want to know, you want to see how he treats others, okay, so that you'll be sure that he's also going to treat you right. It's extremely important. You don't want a man that is going to constantly talk down on you, okay, every now and then. That alone in itself is going to kill your person, you know. Your self-worth is just going to be eroded with. So it is extremely important that you know some of those things. And then, of course, you also want to be sure that you're compatible. I mentioned that before, whether it is mentally and what have you, you want to be sure. You want to be sure that this particular person can actually get your attention 24/7. Okay? Yes, there will be time, you know, there will be a dark moment. It's natural. But generally, you love this person enough to spend the rest of your life with him. And if you're just joining in, well, you might need to replay because there are so many questions that I would like to answer. But just before these questions, came up, I've already tried profiling solutions to some of these questions, and I believe you'll be able to learn from it. So, in general, it's just for you to be sure that this is the man. Okay? And you find that out when you have peace of mind. Every time, it comes up in your mind, you are not aggravated. You are not afraid that, oh, maybe this is not going to end well, and so on. So you want to know that as well.
Nothing can come in between us. Nothing they say will separate us. You brought so much joy, so much happiness.
Wow.
And it's in you I find the rest. People say I'm going crazy.
When you are to say yes to a man, make sure he loves you. Make sure he loves you. Yes, you are to love him, but please make sure that he loves you. And sometimes I recommend that a man's love is more, because a man's love has a way of dwindling after marriage. A woman's love continues to grow. That lady must have someone, or that man must have someone in the family that he or she respects. Somebody must be able to say, stop it, and she listens. Or the man, stop it, and the man listens. You don't say yes to a man because of money. That money you are seeing today might disappear tomorrow, but character remains. So you want to be sure that he's hardworking. He's a man that wants to achieve purpose. He's a man that is also going to knock you on. You don't want to marry a man that can afford your bag, but would never support your dream and goals in life.
Mama Helen, it's to take you higher, it's to build your home, make you smile again, keep a day with Mama Helen and you.
Mama Helen and You, showing on the African Broadcasting Network.